Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. If you're a public employee or you plan to be a patient someday, you'll want to watch today's show. Andy's got the rundown.
Sam, Attorney General Brian Sandoval joins us this morning. Maybe he'll have an answer to that question about whether or not public employees can run for office. Then we talk to Frank X. Mullen, investigative reporter for the Reno Gazette-Journal. Is your doctor dangerous for your health because the medical board isn't doing its job? Sam?
And on the Power Pundit panel today, Martha Gould, Keith Lee, and Jason Geddes. It's all coming up next on the all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
The Aboud family has an appetite for dialogue. Agree or disagree, have the conversation. All opinions are welcome. Since 1977, Adele's.
Catch us straight, dine at 8. Lucky you. Lucky you. Dance till 1, have some fun. Lucky you. Lucky you. Taste the shrimp, have a sip, try the pool. Play it cool. At the Sienna Hotel Spa Casino. Lucky you.
In business, the key to success is not the quantity of your clients, it's the quality of your clients. Almost all companies will tell you they want more sales, but what they really need are quality customers who pay their bills on time. With Employer Link's client vendor screening program, we provide comprehensive reports regarding the financial performance of your corporate prospects, customers, and vendors. Build your business with great clients and vendors. Call Employer Links today at 883-3733.
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years. Call 882-1700 to see what we can do for your organization.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad, political analyst Ande Engleman on No Holds Barred Political Forum. Now, from the News 4 Broadcast Center, here's Sam Shad.
And welcome back to Nevada Newsmakers. Our first guest today is our Attorney General of the great state of Nevada, Brian Sandoval.
Good morning.
Brian, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.
I have to ask you, there's candidates and people waiting breathlessly. Do we have an opinion yet on whether or not public employees can run for office?
We are in the process of developing that opinion, and we should have it by the end of the month.
It's been in the process now for a long time.
It has, but it's a very important issue and to the people in the legislature who could be affected by it and the people of the state. So we want to ensure that it's well researched and well done.
So February 29th?
Before February 29th.
Before
yes.
February 28th?
Yes.
I want to know when.
Just for the public who may not be up to speed on this, what would be the ramifications if you said that public employees could not serve in the legislature? What would literally happen?
Well, you know, it would be just an opinion is what it is, and I would anticipate that there would be some type of a judicial challenge to that, and probably that's where it should go, is to a court to decide that issue once and for all.
What I'm hearing rumors that one of the things the opinion could say is that state employees cannot run for the legislature because of the Constitution, but that local government employees and school teachers could, which is kind of a split sort of decision. Where would somebody who works for the courts, like Sheila Leslie, for instance, fall?
Well, let me back up first. I don't know. I don't even know the answer yet because we're having this research done, you know, and so we have not in our research made any divisiveness in terms of employees or where you're employed. I look at it as more of a holistic decision versus parceling it out like that.
Okay.
Because I don't think it really solves the issue in terms of if you're dividing it between the judicial and the public employees.
So it's going to be an either or?
Most likely, yes.
Okay, so, but the bottom line is we're not suddenly going to see Richard Perkins being forced to choose between his job and serving the legislature, same thing between his titles. Well, if there's a court challenge.
You could. I mean, as I said, our opinion is just that, and this will be a very well-researched opinion, a very well-done opinion. But again, I anticipate that if we were to decide that way, and I'm not saying which way we're going to go, I'm confident there would be some type of a challenge in the courts.
And would you then defend your opinion in the courts?
Yes. Okay. Yes, one way or the other.
Okay. The second thing I want to talk about is, of course, get an update on the open meeting law case against the Board of Regents.
The regents are scheduled to have their response due this week, and we eagerly await that. I have no idea. I've seen that the counsel for the university system or the regents has said that the regents are going to vigorously oppose our opinion and our complaint that we've issued against it.
Yeah, this brings up the subject of boards. We have public boards that are there to serve the public, whether it's the medical board or whether it's the Board of Regents. They're there they deal with taxpayer dollars. If these professional boards, such as the medical board, get sued and they don't have the money, taxpayers have to pay the cost of that suit, which is why we care how they behave themselves. We've seen this investigative report by Frank Mullen with the Reno Gazette-Journal, and we see that attorneys who work for that board are blatantly saying that they're going to ignore certain rules, certain laws that the legislature have asked them to do. We've got the Board of Regents ignoring the open meeting law. What's going on here, Brian? What can we do?
Well, it is frustrating for us, and these boards are not represented by the Attorney General's office. There's an important distinction there. They have their own private counsel, and I am concerned that there isn't a sensitivity that ultimately it is the taxpayers of the state of Nevada that are responsible for the liabilities that are incurred by those boards and commissions. So there has been some discussion that some legislators have mentioned to me that they would seek to have the Attorney General's office represent boards and commissions versus them going out and hiring their own
Or how
counsel.
about putting some more teeth into the law so that when people do break the law, there are real repercussions, not just to the boards, which would basically hurt the institutions, but on a personal basis. I mean, it seems like the Board of Regents just keeps saying,
So you're talking about the open meeting law?
Yes, it's not just us. It's, we listen to our attorney, he tells us it's okay, and so that's what we do. I mean, that doesn't apply in other areas of the law. I mean, if you break the law, knowingly or unknowingly, you have to pay a price.
Right. Well, and I've already been on record that we are going to be seeking, we being the Attorney General's office, stiffer penalties associated with violations of the open meeting law, and I've received calls from legislators who would like to work together on this. So I'm confident that we'll see some changes in that regard. But in terms of the individuals, yes, who sit on the boards, I've relied on the advice of counsel, and so therefore we are trying to be proactive and saying, before a meeting occurs, if there's an agenda problem, if there's an issue here, so that they go into the meeting knowing that the Attorney General's office has already opined that there could be a violation of the open meting law.
But there are attorneys telling them not to call you, that they're the attorney, and they tell them not to call you. What can we do about attorneys?
All right, let's change subjects here, because
talk to Shakespeare about that.
The audience is already trying to get in on this one. Okay, you had a press conference this morning over at the Children's Cabinet. Tell us the results of that.
Yes, we're very excited about that. The Attorney General's office, the Children's Cabinet, the IRS, and the Nevada Legal Services are working together to provide free advice to low-income individuals so that they know whether or not they're eligible for earned income tax credits. And some of the statistics that we've heard is that there are over $30 million that goes unclaimed by taxpayers in the state of Nevada. We want to put that money in people's pockets.
Okay, and that's because they haven't filed, right?
Right. They have not filed, or they will file not knowing that they were eligible for that.
Okay, and that brings up the question that always comes up in these things, which is, if I show up for this, am I going to get busted for something along the way here?
No. I mean, we're not going to...
Is there somewhat of an amnesty?
I don't know if amnesty is the right word. We're going to be screening individuals based on their income, not anything else. Any person who is responsible for filing a tax return can come to us. We will determine what their income status is, and thereafter, if they are eligible, then we'll come in and provide them that assistance.
But you're not going to arrest them for not having filed their
No,
tax return?
no.
Okay, Attorney General Brian Sandoval, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
You're always welcome. You have your parking place right outside.
Thank you very
When
much.
we come back, Frank Mullen, he has been a busy man. We'll give you the results of his work after this.
Atlantis is cooking up a party. It's every diner's paradise. Toucan Charlie's Buffet and Grill, voted Reno's best buffet by locals year after year. Experience the Mongolian barbecue, new Asian station, and sumptuous exhibition stations filled with fresh entrees, salads, and desserts. Try the Friday night seafood buffet and Sunday champagne brunch. Atlantis.
Would you like to savor a Trento pork chop? Or maybe pasta rags with grilled chicken? Hugo's Tuscan Grill at D'Andrea is a celebration of color, flavor, and freshness. Each dish is created from natural, wholesome foods that is delicious and nutritious. Hugo's is a comfortable restaurant with breathtaking city views. If you enjoy great food and good company, visit us here at Hugo's. It's the best that dining can be. 2900 South D'Andrea Parkway in Sparks.
Allegra is Northern Nevada's #1 offset printing and digital copying facility.
From disc to destination, Allegra utilizes tomorrow's technology today. We specialize in booklets, catalogs, manuals, newsletters, stationery, and envelopes.
Xerox, Docutech, 4-color printing with Heidelberg Speedmaster, desktop publishing and design, graphic services, pickup and delivery.
If you need printing, Allegra can do it. From disc to destination.
To experience the royal cuisine of India, you need some serious magic or simply transport yourself to India Garden, right here in Reno, where you'll discover Indian specialties refined over centuries. Sikh kebab, tandoori dishes cooked in our own tandoor oven, biryani specialties, curries, fresh-baked Indian bread, over a dozen vegetarian dishes, even dishes rare to India like dosa, South Indian-style crepes. India Garden off South Virginia near Sports West. We are India.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
Back on Nevada Newsmakers, the special report that was issued in the Gazette-Journal over this weekend and into Monday was so heavy I got a hernia carrying it to the front door here because Frank Mullen has been doing an incredible job. He is with the Reno Gazette-Journal and he is their investigative reporter, and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Very quickly, I'm a member of investigative reporters and editors, and I can tell you that the job they did was astounding. 6 months is actually a good time period because what they had to do was go through thousands of pages of testimony and papers. I know what goes into investigative reporting. Good job.
Well,
Frank.
thanks very much.
And Steve Timko also did an excellent job on the computer.
Yeah, he crunched a lot of those numbers and was instrumental in getting the vast amount of information that we had down to a manageable size.
Okay, for those of our viewers who may not read the Reno Gazette-Journal, and they should, and they can read the stories online, explain what this is all about.
Basically, it was a look at medical malpractice in Nevada in terms of numbers, in terms of some of the cases, the most sued doctors, for example. And to do that, what I did was get a public use version of a national database that is secret but available to medical boards, hospitals, HMOs, as a flagging system for doctors who may jump from state to state. This database is encoded so that you can use it for statistical purposes. It's designed for statistical purposes. But if you compare it to the public record, if you sort the numbers and compare it to the public record in terms of lawsuits, disciplinary actions, hospital sanctions, other things that you can find out about, you can identify the doctors on it.
But the bottom line on this, Frank, is that you went and looked at the medical board, which is supposed to...
And the board, yes.
Which is supposed to police the doctors in our state and keep the dangerous ones out, or the ones that are sued a lot certainly should be flagged, and that information given to the public before they go to that doctor, so they know whether or not they're taking a risk. Is that right?
Yes, and what we found out was that it's extremely hard to find out, or it's getting better, but it was extremely hard to find out about your doctor in this state in terms of settlements, in terms of discipline. But one of the main things in terms of the malpractice suits were the small cadre of doctors who are responsible for the lion's share of the malpractice settlements and judgments have flown under the board's radar. And of the 50 who are responsible for half of the $276 paid out in medical payments, malpractice payments since 1996. 4 of them have been disciplined. One of them, the most sued doctor in the state, just picked up, moved to California. He hasn't missed a day of practice.
I want to just grab you on one point. You said $276. Did you mean?
$276 million.
Million. Okay. All right. Now, but that's what has made the insurance rates go up so high for doctors that they said they can't practice here. Is that right?
Well, and there's a lot of issues in the whole what's made the insurance premiums go up. But one of them is, yes, they claim that there's a lot of payments in the state. Other people claim that it's because the insurance companies made bad investments. And the insurance companies themselves, when I went through scores of lawsuits, a lot of times the insurance companies are reluctant to settle, even if the doctor wants to settle. The patient wants to settle, the lawyers want to settle. The insurance company says, no, let's go to court, let's fight it. That happened in the record judgment in Nevada just last year. It was upheld by the Supreme Court. Now it's $15 million in a single malpractice judgment that the doctor could have walked years ago for $1 million. But his insurance company, which is doctors' company, by the way, owned by doctors, decided to fight it, and that was the Hockenberry case out in Fallon. And the jury award, I believe, was $8 million. It's gone up to more than $15 million now. It may be up to $16 million with interest.
Okay, the thing that concerned me was the lack of cooperation you received from the board. Tell the public, if you would, how you tried to connect with the board and get information from them and their response.
Initially, I called the medical board in June and July, asking to set up an interview with some key people. And I got no phone calls back. I was told I had to call the president, Dr. Cheryl Hug English, and she did not return literally dozens of calls in June and July. I made some calls to the governor's office and said, gee, you guys appoint the board. Perhaps you could be of some help here. And the doctor finally called me back and set up a meeting, and I met with 3 of the top lawyers at the board and Dr. Cheryl Hug English at the board headquarters. I did an interview that, I don't know, lasted an hour and change. And after that, I told them I'd have some follow-up questions. And their story is, we're doing a great job. We're a national model. And you're just going to have to take our word for it, kind of a thing. And after that, they refused to answer any follow-up questions, with the exception of some very general things that Dr. Hug English answered. But I was told by Dick LaGarza, who's their chief counsel, I was told by Larry Leslie, who is their executive secretary, we've talked to you already. Have a nice day. Basically, they refused to answer any follow-up questions. And they're a public board.
Right. I mean, this is a board that exists so that the public understands, to protect the not to protect doctors,
no,
but to protect the public from doctors that may harm them. That's the sole purpose for this board's existence.
Right. And I went to board meetings. I buttonholed various members of the staff, various members of the board. I said, look, I'm working on this thing. I'm serious about it. I've got a lot of information. I've gotten a lot of negative comments about the board, negative information about the board. I need more of your side of it. And the attitude from their chief counsel over there, LaGarza, was, we talked to you once, we're not talking to you again. I will not have time now. I will not have time for the rest of my life to speak to you.
Okay, why? Why? That's the big question.
I don't know. I have to refer you to the section. What were they trying to hide? Read the special section that came out in the paper, read the series that came out in the paper. Maybe that had something to do with it.
Frank, this appeared Sunday and Monday.
By the way, that was one of the best advertising ploys I've ever seen. He marketed them right to the website or to the paper. I'm not going to tell you on the program.
Okay.
Read it.
All right. Let me finish the question. We're almost out of time. Okay. I'd like to know what kind of feedback you've had since this appeared in the paper.
Well, yesterday it was a holiday, President's Day, and I got numerous calls, phone calls and emails about it. So far, I haven't gotten any negative comments from the public on it. It was all positive. I even had a doctor who was mentioned in the list of disciplined doctors we ran. He called me up and said, my patients today were complaining that I was on the list, but I told them, hey, that was 10 years ago. It's water under the bridge. I made a mistake. I paid for it. Read the rest of the section, because there's something, there are other things in there that you need to know.
Okay,
so he was very supportive.
We're going to take a break here, and we're going to have Frank join us on the pundit panel, and we'll be right back after this.
Before you head to Carson, take care of yourself with a visit to Tamarack Junction. Catch a hot cup of coffee and the morning news on one of our 32 TVs and enjoy the best food in South Reno. Tamarack Junction, your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amodei Ranch Parkway.
The Aboud family has an appetite for dialogue. Agree or disagree, have the conversation. All opinions are welcome. Since 1977, Adele's.
Your home is an expression of all things comforting and familiar. For custom storage, you can count on California Closets to provide quality, value, and design integrity. The process is easy, combining your personal style with our organizing expertise. We care about what matters most to you, making your home functional and beautiful. California Closets, simplifying home and life since 1978. Call today for your complimentary design consultation.
When you sign up for Wells Fargo free checking, you get more than free checking. You get the freedom to bank when and where you want. Wells Fargo, the next stage.
Make your daily commute easy with breakfast or lunch at the Tamarack Junction. Enjoy daily specials, super fast service, and South Reno's freshest morning meals. Tamarack Junction, your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amodei Ranch Parkway.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
No. All right, we're back. We're already debating public employees here. Keith Lee, attorney, thank you for being with us. Jason Geddes, assemblyman, thank you for being with us, and public employee. Martha Gould, a good Democrat, thank you for being here. And Frank Mullen joins us. And before we get to the public employees, very quickly, I want to talk about the Democratic caucus this last week, which showed a very highly energized Democratic Party in the state of Nevada. 6,000 people statewide came out for this. Are the Republicans in trouble? Keith, I'll start with you, and give us your projection for who's going to be the vice presidential candidate.
And I get to change that from last time. Thank you very much for that. Are the Republicans in trouble in the state? Well, I guess when they have an 8,000 vote registration, 8,000 voter registration margin, sure they're in trouble. I mean, anybody with that small a margin is in trouble. I think, though, that focus on what this has done for the Democratic Party has energized them. I don't know that since 1960, when John Kennedy ran, was there so much enthusiasm this early in a presidential election year for a Democratic candidate, be it John Kerry or anyone. And it's almost, it's a situation of anybody but George W., and that's where they're headed.
I expect my party to match that enthusiasm, frankly. I mean, I think the turnout at the Democratic caucus was fantastic, seeing that many people involved. I think it'll carry over. We'll see Republicans, we'll see independents. I think everybody's going to be involved this time.
Martha, briefly?
It was incredible. I was there, and it was absolutely incredible, and I agree with Keith, anybody but Bush. And there were a lot of Republicans who came and changed their party.
Keith, quickly, you have a prediction for vice presidential?
Bill Richardson, governor of New Mexico.
So Richardson-Kerry ticket as well, or
Kerry Richardson. Bill might prefer it the other way, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Right. Okay, we're writing that down, and we're going to make certain. Okay, let's get to the medical board now. Frank, thank you for joining us on the pundit panel. Keith, you are the lobbyist, not the attorney for, but the lobbyist for the medical board. Why would the medical board be so reluctant to answer questions?
Well, and I guess we would take a little different point of view from what Frank indicated, is that, you know, I think that we spent somewhere in excess of 30 to 40 people hours from the board level talking with Frank, and you know, at some point in time, you know, we could never reach agreement. Frank would disagree with what we'd say, and he has that right to do so. And so it's not like we were hiding from something. We had our own responsibility to do. Let me just make one other statement that corrects something that an inference that was made when we interviewed the Attorney General this morning. The State Board of Medical Examiners does not receive $1 of public taxpayer money. It is funded solely by the medical doctors who are regulated by it.
Excuse me, but that has been deemed to be taxpayer dollars because you couldn't operate without the state saying you can operate. And if they run out of money, it's the taxpayers that have to pick up the bill if they get sued.
I disagree with that.
No, yes, it is.
No,
you've got some exposure there.
We can talk about that some other time, but that's actually not correct.
So that's why the legislature looks upon it as taxpayer dollars. Is because they couldn't collect it if the state didn't say they could.
And I think one important issue there that you have to look at as to why they won't take action is their fear of being sued. I mean, despite the amount of protection that the state says those board members have, they're afraid of being sued. And it's open meeting law, you see it everywhere. You go to these volunteer boards and commissions around the neighborhood, and you can't get members to serve because they're afraid if they rule against somebody, they're going to be sued and that they're personally liable. And you can look at that board. I think that's the biggest reason that panel doesn't take action. They're afraid if they yank somebody's license, they're going to be sued, and they're going to have that sitting on their record. If they go to get their malpractice insurance every year, if just doing whatever, their personal assets are liable.
Well, wait a minute. I mean, I serve on several boards, and the boards that I serve on, which are primarily nonprofit, we actually carry insurance to protect us in terms of liability. So, you know, that's an issue that can be answered.
It can be.
Basically, the bottom line is these boards exist to protect the public. And if you have to have some kind of liability insurance in order to protect them so that they will make the tough decisions, then do it.
Yep. Or strengthen the law so that they're not afraid of being sued and they will act.
Otherwise, why have
all
the
I will say
boards?
is they are being sued now by a doctor who was denied a license. In fact, it was a doctor that was mentioned in Frank's column or article this week, and they're being sued by him. And that's the doctor's right to sue, to attempt judicial review of a decision made by the board. And in all due respect to my good friend Jason, I don't believe the board fails to act or acts with a view over their shoulder of whether they're going to be sued or not. I think they act in good conscience and good faith on the evidence before them.
Frank, we have 30 seconds. I want you to quickly update us on what's going on out in Fallon.
Okay, the government investigators of the leukemia cluster of 16 children, 3 of whom have died, is over. Basically, there's not much going on the government side, but independent researchers from Arizona are doing air tests in the month of March. Matter of fact, they're looking for volunteers in Fernley, Fallon, Lovelock, and some other areas to put these little toaster-sized air samplers in. So the research goes on, but it's private, funded by the Gerber Foundation rather than CDC and ATSCR. They've done their reports, and there's not much else they're going to do at this point.
Okay, and with that, we are out of time. We'll be right back.
It's America's largest historical district, and it's fun for the entire family. Virginia City is where the West comes alive every day, from train rides to gunslingers. Your gang can explore mines and interesting museums, visit historic saloons, and do some great shopping. Virginia City is the ultimate in family entertainment, and it's very affordable. Come up and stay overnight in our hotels, motels, and RV park. Virginia City, the Wild West at its best.
I tell you, John, this industry has really changed.
Tell me about it.
You seemed to do pretty well last year. What's your secret?
No secrets. Although I'll tell you something. The smartest thing I did was sign up with Pro Group Management.
Really? Yeah, they do workers' comp, right?
Yeah, their services are great. And get this, they saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
That works for me.
Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you. Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
Big show coming up tomorrow.
Yes, you're talking to Rob Goldstein.
From the Venetian.
Right, And then we talked to Richard Zeiser, who's running against Senator Harry Reid.
And he doesn't think he's running uphill. We'll see you tomorrow.